hey, congratulations on your film, Mami Wata.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
More of a congratulations that it's being showcased at one of the most prestigious film festivals in the world at Sundance. How do you feel about that?
Oh man, I feel great. I've been carrying the feeling for quite a while. I mean, because we were notified really early, as far back as April. So, so between carrying that and having to keep it to yourself, it's a lot of emotion, just holding something that big, to yourself for all that while. But luckily, at the time, we still had post production to finish. So that kind of it felt nice to go to finish up the last phase of post production, knowing that it's going to Sundance. So yeah, that was nice.
I'm very happy for you, and it is such a beautiful film by itself. So let's ask that question we always ask: is
Thank you.
where the original idea came from for Mami Wata?
The original idea just hit me from nowhere. Like I was literally, I think I was in a bus or in a cab. I can't remember, but I was about to travel in this state from a small town, Owerri, to Umuahia. It's a small town in the southeastern part of Nigeria. And this thing happens to me. It has maybe happened to me maybe three, at most four times my entire life. I don't know if I would call it a dream or something, but I like to call them like mini trances. So what happens is I kind of zone out, and I'm not asleep, but I zone out, and then I find myself sort of like in this weird place, and then I come back, and I don't know if it happens like for minutes, but it feels like a long time wherever it is that I find myself. And so in this particular scenario, I saw myself on the beach, and and when I look across the beach, I see who I believe to be Mami Wata. And Mami Wata is a deity in West African, not just in West African mythology, but also like rooted in real religion, especially as regards the practitioners of voodoo. But I look across the ocean, and I see Mami Wata standing in the ocean, and it's very vivid. It's so clear. In fact, every time I tell the story, I get goosebumps because it's like it's so crystal clear. And she kind of looks through me, and I realize she's not looking at me; she's looking through me. So I turn my back, and I see this young woman, maybe 20, 21, at most 22, walking towards me, but more so walking towards her. And so she kind of just walks right past me, and she's heading towards the lady, and I just come to. And I remember telling my partner, who's my wife and my producer, I remember immediately telling her that the next movie we're making is Mami Wata. And she doesn't question it, she just says, let's do it. And so that was like around January 2016. And 7 years later, January 23, we're premiering at Sundance.
Wow, your movie came through a vision. That is pretty awesome.
Yeah, yeah. But here's the thing, though. Like, so that vision, I'm sure you've seen the movie, but without giving spoilers to whoever is reading or who will read, that is the end part of the film, right? That portion of the vision became the end portion of the film. But between 2016 to, I guess, 2020, was a journey of trying to figure out who this young woman was, where she came from, her village. Like that became, the practical journey of figuring out the script. I spent, I think, between 2016 to 2018 working on several drafts. I think I must have written maybe 8, 9, maybe even 10 drafts, but I was never happy with any of those drafts, even though everyone kept telling me they were great drafts. But but after kind of like being stuck and feeling stuck, I just got rid of all those drafts and started like restarted the process. And that process took me through several labs and script workshops in Africa and in Europe for another 2 years before I eventually arrived at the shooting script.
Wow. Now it seems like you put a lot of research into the story, particularly the the ceremonial activities and stuff, and costumes and makeup and all this kind of stuff. Could you talk about how you developed all of that, and is that something that's still practiced today?
Yes, Mami Wata is, to be clear, it's a religion in West Africa. There are religions that still worship Mami Wata, even beyond West Africa. You go to the Caribbean, you go to Brazil, you go to Cuba, many countries in the Americas, you'll find this worship. So it's a religion, first of all. But it's a religion that is rooted in something even older than maybe the terminology religion, like, as a practice and as a belief system. And so for me, I wanted to really tap into that and draw from that, but also to try and be as true to that as possible. So even though you might, for technical purposes, you might call it a Nigerian film, but it is a West African film in the sense that Mami Wata is a culture that kind of connects the entire West Africa. Because anywhere you go to in West Africa, whether the Francophone countries or the Anglophone countries, we all have one thing in common: the belief in Mami Wata, or the belief system of Mami Wata. And we all recognize her as Mami Wata, whether for good or for bad, right? But it was for me, developing the story and the aesthetic of it was about going deeper into the I guess what you might refer to as the modernity of it, but going even further beyond that. So the costume and all of those things, I drew heavily from West African um, traditional costumes, makeup, and all of those things. You find a lot of that from across Nigeria, Ivory Coast, Burkina Faso, Mali. I drew a lot of that because of the story I'm telling, the Mami Wata story, and the village of E itself. I felt it was necessary for me not to put it in any particular country in West Africa, because that allowed me to tap into. So if you're from West Africa, you're going to find things that you oh, that's ours, that's our thing. Like you're going to find different, whether it's in the naming or it's in the like uh, the architecture or the set design or the costume. You're going to find something that connects to a very real tradition and place. But at the same time, I took a lot of creative liberties, even though the inspiration comes from some very real place.
Most excellent. And one more thing with you, CJ, because I love the decision to do it in black and white because it looked so beautiful. People are just going to be mesmerized at Sundance after watching this.
Yeah, I
Talk,
hope
talk
so.
about talk about making that decision to make it black and white, and tell us about
Yeah.
the cinematography, because even if it was black and white, the way how you shot it was
Yeah.
just perfect.
Yeah, and that's a great question because, okay, first of all, the trans experience I had was all in black and white. So for some reason, and it wasn't just black and white, it was highly contrasted. I know this because even the dark clouds seemed very grungy and highly contrasted, in this vision. And so I wanted to, just right off the bat, I wanted to replicate that because I hadn't seen anything like that as far as black and white cinema. Um, and so that was the first motivating factor. And then the other motivating factor to make it in black and white was something a bit more sentimental. So even though it's my third feature, to a large extent, it felt like it was my first feature. because as much as there was this external journey to make the film, there was also an internal journey, going back to my love for cinema and why I wanted to make films to begin with. And that took me all the way back to my childhood, where I used to watch movies on our black and white TV. Because our color TV was busted. The lightning struck and busted it. And it was a German TV. Grundig used to be this old German brand. And we never could fix it because none of the electricians in small town where could speak German or understood German. So we had this black and white TV. I don't know if you know the type that you draw open and close like this, from back in the day. So that was my cinema experience. And even all the colored movies I used to watch, I watched them in black and white, and they sort of like imprinted in my memory, so much so that even till now, when I try to remember, for example, when I try to recollect a scene in Evil Dead, even though I have seen Evil Dead many years since in color, I still see it in black and white till today. Like even right now, because it's so imprinted. All the films I saw and experienced in black and white, I still see them in black and white. So I think that did something, and black and white somehow connects me to my childhood, to a certain kind of nostalgia and a love for film. And so I wanted to tap into that in making Mami Wata. But also, just even on a more practical point of view, I feel like in this age of content, so to speak, I really wanted to make a film that stood out just right off the bat. And furthermore, and I didn't just want I didn't want a film that was a gimmick black and white film. I wanted a film that if people saw, hopefully they would say, nah, I can't see it in color. That so the black and white had to be organic to the film, to the characterization, to the look and feel, like even just in the development of how we wanted to shoot it with my DOP Lilies. We felt like it was an opportunity to innovate something in terms of how dark skin and dark bodies are captured.
Well,
Yeah.
you certainly did that, CJ, and I can't wait till the audiences of Sundance have a chance to check this out. They'll be talking about it. That's for sure.
Thank you.
So
Thank
anyway,
you.
CJ, hey, thank you very much for carrying this conversation with us about Mami Wata.
Thank you, Gabe.
And hopefully you enjoy Sundance and watch everyone's reactions after the theaters.
Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Bye now.